give a warm welcome to actor Yura, Borisov, producer Samantha, Quan, and writer, editor, director Samantha.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad I got the memo that we were all. I'm glad I got the memo about us wearing black, all of us. Yeah. I actually crazy. When I saw your film at Telluride and loved it, I kept thinking about Nights of Caribbean. We just opened today. The film festival acquired a film center downtown, 5 screens, and we're doing a Fellini retrospective. And then I peeked in at the ending, and you know, there's a single tear.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
well, we didn't. It is weird. It's strange. And the ending, the way it was written, it just says Annie breaks down and cries. It doesn't say how. I don't think at that point I had even shown Mikey Nights of Cabiria. I don't think she had seen it yet, and she obviously couldn't plan a single tear. But I was in the back seat, just to break the fourth wall. I'm in the back seat of the car there. And when she started to cry, I look up, and I'm watching the monitor, but I wanted to make sure, and I look up and over, and I see a single tear coming down, that single tear. And I said, that's an unintentional nod to one of the films that inspired this film through her wonderful performance.
Actually, we were showing it this afternoon, and I was like, what the fuck? Did you just like tell Mikey Madison one single tear? It's unbelievable. Which, you know, brings me up to another question about the ending. It is so open to interpretation. Every which way you look at it, and I've seen it a few times, we could take a different aspect of it. Was that your intention the whole time?
That was, yeah, that was the way we designed it. For me, I think my favorite endings in the films I love are ones that are open-ended and ones that are designed to be left up for interpretation, allowing the audience to perhaps even write the epilogue, you know? So yes, very much. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to share with you my personal thoughts on it. That's the point.
Yeah. Sam, welcome back. Lovely to have you here. I know that he doesn't like talking about his films and his approach. In all of his films, we see sex workers, and the wrong word would say to normalize this, but we have sex workers in the forefront. And can you tell us about that aspect of your work with Sean and the importance of that?
Well, I think that Sean doesn't go out to just make sex work movies. I think he doesn't want it to be like a shtick or anything like that. I think that he makes movies that he likes to focus on stories that he doesn't normally see in Hollywood. And it just so happens that through his research with Starlet and things like that, there were so many people and so many stories that it kind of came to a situation where he was like, wait, there's so many stories here, not just, you know, the Starlet story, not just, you know. So I think that it's more about Anora is not just a sex worker, but it's a very intimate story that actually has universal themes. But I do think that there is something about, I mean, I don't want to get into like a political platform or anything, but I think sex work and other types of jobs that maybe hold a stigma are ones that, you know, Hollywood doesn't give stories to necessarily, and also not a normalization, but just kind of breaking stigmas and seeing people for who they are.
I mean, what I've loved about the work that the two of you have done throughout this years is like marginalized characters that normally we don't give, we don't think about, and like you guys put them at the center, and that's what I mean. We're all together in this. We're all part of society. And it's an amazing thing that you guys make us look at people that we normally, just sort of don't think about.
Yeah, I think that there are certain people that you don't, you just don't think about. But everybody is the same, as you say.
Correct. Yura, you have, in my book, one of the hardest roles in this movie. You make us switch the way we feel about your character halfway through the movie. At first it was like, we don't like this guy. And then halfway through it was like, wow, I'm falling in love with this guy. What was it like for you to approach this role that was so complex?
I don't know. Ask Sean, because it's just was part of my life and the life of Igor, life of Annie, of Anora, of Mikey. I mean, I just see at her every time, all that way, and Sean. Through the camera, look at Igor, at me, and finally, I don't know how does it work. It's magic.
Well, you were not aware of the fact that this character we were not sympathized with at first. He came across as the antagonist, and somehow in the middle, by your work, we start sympathizing with you. You were not clued into that aspect.
Yeah, and for me, he is not antagonist from the beginning. It's just you feel that way, but it's not, and step by step you start feeling that it's not, because when you see at my face, it's I feel that it's not so kind, maybe. when the first time she hit me.
You actually look very nice.
I think so too.
Yura is being so humble.
Yes, he is.
We had lots of discussion about the fact that he doesn't have much dialogue in the film, and how But I trusted him. I saw Yura in a wonderful film called Compartment Number 6, a wonderful Finnish film from a few years ago. You should definitely check it out. And I saw how incredible he was in that movie, so I had complete faith. But what I really discovered was in post-production, because I edit my own films, so I'm in post, and I'm just seeing this incredibly sophisticated, subtle, consistently subtle performance throughout the entire movie. He's just giving little things here and there. And if you rewatch the movie, you can actually, and you just watch Yura, you just watch the Igor character. His growing interest in Annie is just incredible to watch, in the subtlety, little glances here and there. And Yura brought so much to this film. Really, no, seriously, just help me fleshing out the character. Helping me flesh out the character, some incredible ideas, as like the fact that it was Igor's birthday the day before, the places he went to during the home invasion scene near the end, and the screaming, Yura, the hamburger at the diner, Yura brought Mark. Yura brought Mark to the movie, because we were looking for Ivan, and we were actually thinking perhaps even going a stunt casting route with having a young Russian pop star influencer play the role, and Yura was like, no, this is a complex role here, actually, maybe we should, and there's this wonderful young actor I just worked with, his name is Mark Edelstein, and you should give him a chance, and
So he's the one that found Mark.
Yes.
Wow. That's
No,
amazing.
no, Sean found Mark. I just suggested.
Awfully humble. Keep being humble. I have to ask you, Sean, about your cinematic choices. The fact that it was shot on 35 and the anamorphic lenses, that we're able to see the landscape, but we still see the faces, focus on the faces and the 70s gritty look that it brings with you. Can you tell us about that approach?
Thank you. Yeah, Drew Daniels, our amazing cinematographer. Yeah, he's incredible. I worked with him on Red Rocket, and I think we're just on the same page. We love the same films. We always talk about how these are contemporary stories, but we want these films to feel like they were shot in 1974. So we use vintage lenses. We shoot on 35. We actually, we look at the aesthetic of 70s world cinema, the way that the scenes are covered, the way that we frame using the 2:3:9 aspect ratio very deliberately. So this is thank you for saying that, because it means a lot. Like that you recognize that that we took the aesthetic seriously.
Yeah, no, I was thinking French Connection, although this has
We
nothing
have lots
to
of
do
nods.
with French Connection. Also,
Owen Roisman is a cinematographer that we both really appreciate. He shot French Connection, and he shot Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, both New York movies with a lot of darker images and shot in the, meaning luminance, nighttime stuff, or in the subway with Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, and how to shoot New York on film in dark areas.
Why I don't want to explain it to the others, but why did you have to zero in on that look for Anora?
We wanted it to be a classic story, so we wanted it to have something that we all see as like almost classic cinema feel. It was the way I felt I wanted to give. I like giving that to these characters, like a real. Almost a classic Hollywood feel, but from yesteryear.
No, there's a texture to it. It's palpable. Also, I want to zero in on the palette of the film. It's all grays and whites, but for the little dash of red color,
Yes.
The significance of the red scarf and the pop of red throughout.
Yes, we leaned into the red and a little bit to the blue, and because my previous few films have been very rainbow
Color, yeah.
Yes, full
Red
spectrum.
Rocket and Florida Project.
Right, and so this one we knew we were shooting in the winter in New York. It was automatically going to be gray, so we wanted instead to have just pops of color. And Stephen Phelps, our amazing production designer, we shared images from everything from Godard's Contempt to Jesus Franco Spanish films that have a great use of color, and how to strategically place it in the frame. So he nailed it. He understood what I was looking for and made sure that every frame has something. And then Justine Sierakowski, our wonderful hairstylist, was the one who suggested Mikey's tinsel.
Tinsel,
And
that
I had
has
never
red
seen that
and
before
pink
on film. And so I was like, please, that's amazing. And we could actually have our color palette in her hair. So in every frame, you get a glint of light and our color. Yeah.
Indulge me, because you went there. The fact that you bring Contempt and Jean-Luc Godard. When I was watching your film, I was amazed at the fact, yes, it's like 1970s New York gritty, but then there was this homage to European films also in the 70s, the Italian zooms and the composition of Jean-Luc Godard. Tell us about this blending those two worlds.
It's hard to get into the weeds on it, because it sometimes comes down to the specific sections of the film and or specific characters. Like, how Mikey was shot was like almost a throwback to how Soledad Miranda was shot in the Jesus Franco film, or Brigitte Bardot in Contempt.
Contempt.
Yeah. So perhaps some of the European sensibilities and stuff, not just because I love it so much, but it was also perhaps intentionally just applied to certain sections of the film that I felt had to have that signature, I guess.
I've known you for so long, and I've always talked to you, and you've never wanted to talk, so I'm always with trepidation asking questions, and the fact that you're opening up this far is pretty amazing.
I'm really jet lagged, and so I'm talking more than I normally
means,
talk.
Sam, that I could ask more stuff.
Don't do it.
Sam, Mikey Madison, what a revelation. This lady is on fire. We've seen her in Once Upon a Time in America. And
Literally on fire. Yeah.
she is. What an amazing, tell us about casting her and what you guys saw in her.
Well, I think everyone here can probably attest to Mikey. There is no one like Mikey Madison. The way she looks, the way she acts. She is such a, in real life, she's a very demure, quiet, like she's like, I just want to stay in Laurel Canyon and pet my dog. She's really quiet, so sweet. And then here she's like, ah! But I think that the thing is you can see it like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or Scream 5. Those were the two films that we had seen, and we were like, that's her. Is in her performances in those, you can see that as a performer, she goes straight, like she goes all out. And her capacity for an openness of emotion and a generosity of spirit, she has no ego when it comes to acting, right? She's so fun. She is so diligent. She prepared. Sean had told her when we had offered her the part, when we had the story, but not a full script, Sean offered her the part and said, I'll come back to you in 3 months with a script, and it really took a year. But within that year, we had set her up with, and you can set people up with whoever, like some dance instructors and, dialect coaches and things like that. But what she did was incredible. She not only prepared, but it was insane what she did. Her body, her voice, everything, and then came to set open and willing and generous and fearless. Mm-hmm. And we're all so lucky. Our entire cast was a dream. Every single one of them was an absolute dream. So talented, so kind, so funny. And they love each other. Every time we go somewhere and our cast is together, we're all together, and people are like, you guys really like each other, don't you? And we're like, we love each other. They're the best cast ever.
Well, yeah. Mikey her performance is by far my favorite performance of the year.
She's completely transformational.
It's an incredible. Yura, I want to zero in on the 25-minute home invasion sequence, which is the heart of the film. How difficult was it from your end to shoot that? It took 10 days to shoot that 25-minute sequence,
8.
Correct? 8. Okay.
I don't know. I can say that it was difficult for me because when I have seen Mikey, I understand. Yeah, for me it's not difficult. It's difficult to her, because it's every time she was in how is it?
Oh, she had lots of bruises.
Yeah. She was. It's in final scene. I say that you have sensitive skin because she really has.
We
skin.
put that part into the final scene because of Mikey being easily bruised.
Yes, yes, and it was very difficult to her. And every second, I answered her, "How are you?" And she say, "I'm okay. Yeah, yeah." And just 1 second, she'll say action, and all this stuff. I just tried to catch her, and I don't know. It was lots of fun. It was like a long dream.
Can I say something though? Actually, I remember one time where, because, and I don't know if this is like a Russian thing, but I remember you going up to Mikey and say, "I want you to punch me in the face," like for real. And she was like, "No, I can't punch you in the face." And then you were like, "No, please punch me in the face. I need you to punch me in the face."
Yes, yes. Yes, because it's more funny, you know. It's physical language, body language, and everybody feel that it's real.
Yeah.
From your vantage point, Sean, why did the scene have to be? I mean, it is the centerpiece of the film.
Yeah.
25 minutes.
Yeah, I think it actually turned out to be 28 minutes
20
before she gets
well, I'm
gagged, and
sorry,
then another
20
4 minutes after that.
You know, walk us through the importance of that scene and how difficult was it for you guys to shoot that sequence?
Well, we definitely approached it in a different way from other scenes and set pieces in the film, because we knew it was essentially the film was screeching on the brakes and jumping right into real time, and we knew that real time we couldn't have any continuity errors. It had to play out. The timing had to play out. So basically it was covered more than normal. Just ensuring that we had everything. But also we shot it chronologically. So in the morning, sometimes we would take time to rewrite and adjust and massage, because
Sometimes.
well,
Sometimes.
it was the second
like
day.
every hour.
I remember the second day, I had realized that, okay, there will be hiccups and there will be perhaps logic issues. We got to fix things. And so there would be, the night before, I would have to rearrange dialogue, and my actors had prepared a long time for this, and Karin especially, who has all of that dialogue. And I remember then the third day I walk in there in the morning, I'm like, I completely reworked the dialogue all over the place. And I just saw the fear on Karin's face.
Like it went white,
Yeah,
starting
it
from
went white.
here.
And then I
just
look over and I see the fear on Drew's face, because Drew is like, really, right now?
From my vantage point, I'm thinking this room has so many windows. It's all natural lighting.
Yeah,
were you guys dictated by
Drew
the
is
light?
incredible. I mean, he's and working with his wonderful gaffer, Chris Hill. They had to deal with 8 days of minor weather shifts and stuff like that. And we knew when there would be breaks in the clouds. And we actually, what was so great is that I could rely on them to tell me exactly when that was going to happen, and then take advantage of it. For example, that last moment when Karn is running with the scarf and he goes past the window and it flares out, it's because the sun actually popped at that moment and gave us this beautiful thing. But they were able to tell us, that's going to happen exactly 2:30, so let's plan to do that shot at 2:30. Stuff like that. They're incredible. So it was a stressful thing, but I just watched my actors shine. It was incredible to watch my actors. Like
It's an
every
amazing
night, I would
ensemble.
yeah.
What was it like for you to watch this incredible ensemble rise to the occasion?
They were just giving me gold every day, and also, this is one of the first times I've worked with my entire main cast, and most of my supporting cast are seasoned professional actors with years of experience. So
You have three cultures. You have American, you have Russian, Armenian. Tell us about the importance of having that representation on screen.
There's a lot there. I guess it really stems from my actor, Karan Karagulian, who plays Toros in the film. He's a very good friend of mine. He's been in all of my films. And even back when we made this film called Prince of Broadway, in which, if you like, I'm sure you loved his performance. Check out Prince of Broadway. He's also a lead in that film. And he, even then, we knew we were going to tell the story eventually, something that took place in the Russian-American community of Brighton Beach and Coney Island, because he came over from Armenia in 1990 and landed in Brighton Beach, basically selling caviar on the corners of Brighton Beach Boulevard just to get by, and had a lot of stories from that world, and eventually married a Russian-American, Lana, who plays his wife in the church scene, and has an incredible amount of stories from friends. And so we were always trying to figure out what this could be, telling a story about Armenia's relationship to Russia in America. And, well, it just took us 15 or 16 years to get here when I involved the research that I had done in the sex work world to that. So,
Impulsive.
yeah.
Go ahead, Sam.
I was going to say it also ties into a theme of the film, which is the power dynamics of people and how people like to kick down the people just underneath them. Every single person, whether, it's a Russian oligarch to his, Armenian, the guy who works for him, or it's the manager of a Las Vegas hotel kicking the guy who's the bellhop. If you pay attention, every single person, the person just underneath them, the power dynamic is always kicking the person just underneath them.
And the production design mirrors what you're saying, that we watch this like Uber mansion, we watch Brighton Beach, all the different places that we gravitate towards remind us of that, the class.
Step down in the classes,
step down.
yeah.
Obviously, you guys thought about that. The productions and design mirrors, what you're saying. Sam, the first hour of the film is like anybody who comes in and wants to see a romantic fairy tale story has it. We have the helicopter shot. We even have a song that feels like, okay, we're having this amazing happy ending. The movie shifts in tone dramatically, and then once again shifts for the latter half of the film. Can you tell us about producing this shift in genres?
Well, I mean, it was planned from the very beginning, the tonal shifts, because in the beginning it is like a Hollywood rom-com. Like, Sean always really wanted to be this big romantic kind of sweeping up of Anora by Ivan, because then when Annie falls in love with him or falls in love with his lifestyle, the audience needs to go along on that journey and be like, oh my gosh, this is so great. So that when her heart breaks, or when she's like, we gotta find him, the audience goes on that same journey, So it's like this connection with Annie and the connection of really whether it's Hollywood, whether it's our own dreams, whether it's the ideas that we have, like, as Americans, of, like, one day this could happen. This dream, this fantasy, and this something that I've always dreamed of coming true. And then when that, we all know what that feels like. So then when he runs away, it's like, for everyone, your stomach drops of like, where's he going? And we all want to find him too, and then these tonal shifts, hopefully the audience goes on the exact same ride, Because I actually find the home invasion scene actually very scary, because we don't know who these guys are, right? Like, and she's so little, and even though we know that she's a spunky girl, like, there's these three huge guys. We don't know what's going to happen to her.
But it's one of the most hysterical scenes.
Exactly.
It grabs onto a 1930s screwball gear which was all along the intention, the comedic aspect. Yeah, it is horrifying.
But there's a balance. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, yeah. Of course, we were injecting it. It was a balance that had to be found while we were shooting, but also in post. When to allow us to fall into, a more comical moment. I always think of Chaplin's quote about tragedy is in the close-up, comedy is in the long shot. So I was I kind of applied that to that scene. You know, when we're in with Annie, it's a terrifying thing, and it's a real thing, and it's a serious thing. And then when you're in the wide, you're seeing three goons incapable of of completely dropping the ball on this job, and the absurdity of this moment, and how this young woman is holding her own, and there's this chaotic thing. That was how I saw it. I was allowing the audience to at least laugh at the absurdity of that moment before getting serious again.
I would love to hear your take. Please indulge me. I've loved your filmography. There's one scene that I found one of the most beautiful in your filmography is the one where she's in the bed in Vegas, and then we see him step out of the frame, and it's just her, and we see Vegas in the background, and all of a sudden, we find that she owns up her agency and who she is. You know, can you tell us about that shot?
Well, that was just a very planned scene. Obviously, we didn't deviate from the script at all there because it was, we knew we were using this space, and so it was all, we were all, working in conjunction. It was like how the actual performance and scene was going to play out, and then our camera move around this bed to just allow her to be against the lights of Vegas. And I, as a director, wanted to hold on these two incredible actors who were just giving me a beautiful scene, a complete scene that I didn't want to cut on. And so that's how I approached it, and it was just, my cast and crew who made it happen for me. They understood the vision. Everybody was on the same page, in sync. Incredible crew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, awfully humble, but... Yura, going back to the last scene, tell us about shooting that moment. It's such a complex moment with her, having control and the ambiguity of it. How was it for you to shoot that last scene in the car?
Oh, it was not one day. It was around 3 days.
3 days, yeah.
Yeah, we tried again and again, and we just tried to do it every time. Like first time, it was not easy sometimes. Like when you do 15 times it again and again, you already absolutely don't believe in all this. And Sean seat in the back seat, see to his small monitor like that, and say, "Okay, stop." Sorry, guys, we need it again. We need it again. Yeah, yeah, and we. And you feel that, yeah, absolutely. I absolutely feel that he don't want to do it again, but he need it again, because you know why? You know why? Because it's a very all takes, it's all shots. It's absolutely different films. Finally, because it's different energy, and he tried to find right energy for that moment, because. From this scene depend all film, and every time he said, "Sorry guys, we need it again," and we do it again and again, and but finally when I see this scene, thank you, Sean. I understand why. Thank you.
Oh no! Thank you.
So sweet.
That's not. No, they were giving me. I don't know how many takes we did, but, or maybe around 8 or 10, maybe around there. Incredible performances in each one. There was a lot going on technically behind the scenes, too, with the snow and the camera push. And so they always gave me an incredible. It was that one, though, with the one tear, that everything came together in that one.
Yeah. And last question to both Sam and you, Sean. Quan, top prize. How did you guys feel? How did you process it?
I don't think I've processed
Yeah,
it
we
yet.
haven't.
I mean, it's not
we're
something
still
that you
processing.
ever. You know, like you can tell me it's something that you're like you dream about, but you're just like it's. I mean, it's a great dream. You know, and when we had gone, our first the fact that we got into Cannes main competition was, oh my gosh, we're so. And before we left to go to France, he was like, it's gonna be just a nice, easy vacation. It's gonna be so chill. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he's like, because we're not gonna. It's not like we're gonna win anything. It's just like we're just so lucky to get in. And I was like, yeah, no, it's great. And then it was this crazy frenzy. And then even when we were sitting there, and there was only one thing left to give the award to, the palm, we were still sitting there being like, wait, what's going on? Like, you know? And actually, it was Quan said at that moment, he had thought that they had made a mistake inviting us in the end. And he's like, I'm going to swear. And he goes, I thought they were like, they fucked us over. And now we're sitting here and we're just waiting for nothing. And then we're going to leave. It was like crazy.
But what do you think, Sam? Like, you know, I saw the film in Telluride and I saw the reaction from the audience. This film is hitting the zeitgeist. And, you know, box office wise, you know, your film, I mean, we're turning people away here at the Riviera. Is showing currently, you know, it's the second week of showing. It's packed. Why do you think about your film that has hit the zeitgeist?
Well, I think I can't speak to that, actually. I think that we are so thankful that people are coming to the theaters and watching it. I think that we make things that we really believe in because I mean, we're independent filmmakers. We're not doing it, we don't make a lot of money or anything like that. It's like, so we make things that we really believe in and that we love. In terms of the reception of it, I think it's still so fresh that I know I love the movie, but it's just also so wild still because I think you can't control how people are going to react. You hope that you're like, I hope someone out there likes this. I hope someone out there enjoys it the same way that we mean for them to like it. And I hope that people will go to the movie theater to see it because it was meant to be seen in a theater. Like we shot it on 35 and all the colors, and it on the big screen is what Sean always wants, and so that's what we make it for. But in terms of the reaction, it's been so wonderful. And I think something that I do have an answer, which is I think something about Sean's movies that is really cool that I actually I'm part of it at the same time. I don't know how he does this. Coming back to the first question you asked, which I think it's a very specific story about a very specific person, but the overarching feel of it and all of the themes are so universal. Mm-hmm. You know, everyone knows what it feels like to have a dream about something. Everyone goes through hard times, and I think that through Mikey's performance and all of the other characters, you like them so much, but your heart breaks at the same time. And they're all so complicated, but I also think that's what life is.
Mm-hmm. I think we also want to belong and to be seen. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Yura's character wants to be seen and wants to be part of something. And Anora also. And you guys, you both, Sean and Sam, shine a light on Anora, and we're benefiting from what you've done. Thank you so much. It's an amazing film.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for coming,
here.
guys.
Thank you, everybody.